Easy E, how are we?
Shawnee, we're back.
Well, we're not back alone.
Bit nervous. I usually divulge my secrets just to you with a microphone, but now there's four others looking at me, which makes it a little bit more weird.
Indeed, the Fantastic Four are back as we are 3.5 into week 4 now of the marathon training program. For some people, we're 13.5 weeks away, whether people be training 3-4 weeks or whatever it may be. And we're going to see if the Fantastic Four have any hiccups or anything going on along the way. But before we get into the running part, we'll get this out of the way. We'll get the celebration out of the way because they say not a lot can happen the first 3-4 weeks of marathon training, but a county can become All-Ireland champions, Aoife. So we will give you your spotlight here to glow. You were at the game, were you?
I was at the game, yeah. I went with my mum and my dad and my son. It was an amazing day. We travelled up, took the Lewis in, and the Cork supporters were kind of talking to my little fella saying, "Oh, do you think Tip will win?" Like, kind of the poor little fella will be upset coming home now. And what a turnaround in the second half. It was brilliant.
Unbelievable. I don't know too much about hurling. I just know Cork fell apart 2 points the second half. But I assume there wasn't much running done that weekend, Aoife.
I got my run in on Saturday, and I did, instead of going to training on Monday night, I did a 10K early Monday and went to the homecoming Monday evening. So you have to fit it in. Consistency is key.
Early Monday. So the match is on Sunday, and I don't think I'm a Wicklow guy. If Wicklow ever won the All-Ireland, I don't think I'll be able to run for a month. But but my 49ers won the Super Bowl. I think it would be the exact same. But no, fair play. So you've been consistent over the last 3-4 weeks. Everything going well from there?
I've tried, yeah. You know what? This time of the year, you're only slowly building up the mileage and you're kind of going, Jeannie, how will I go from this to a marathon in such a short time? So I think my motto has been kind of just try and keep it consistent, tick off each session, don't look too far ahead and just trust the process a little bit. And don't panic at this stage when, a 10 or a 12 mile run feels hard and you're panicking. Just go with it and trust that by the time October comes around, all will be well. Fingers crossed.
Couldn't agree more. I'm the exact same right now. Like, I look at my mileage, I'm like 42 the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, the marathon itself is 42, Seán. Come on, you need to get more, but it is kind of building up rather than going too fast now and feeling like, you're just going to do too much, get injured, everything else. It is hard though. I am fighting that feeling every week.
And I think then I'm following Shane now on Instagram, and he's knocking out big weeks, week in, week out. And, you have to just kind of stay in your own lane and not compare yourself to anyone else and just do what's right for you. That's what's right for Shane, and what's right for me would be more similar to you, Seán, with, those kind of mileages, 40, 50 kilometres a week at the minute. So you just have to trust it.
100% agree, but I do hate saying that I did 40 kilometres out loud where I saw Shane put up on the story. Shane, 120 is the goal this week, pal.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy last couple of weeks. So I've been in completely unknown territory as regards to mileage. Like, my peak week from my last marathon was 103k. That was the first week I've ever ran over 100 kilometres. And the last 3 weeks I've gone 101, 109, 113. So it's a bit of a crazy unknown territory at the moment.
What was the week before that 101 out of pure curiosity? How have you built to where you are now?
It's 97th week before, so I have kind of gradually built it up, yeah. So I'm just actually surprised how well my body's responded to it, but I've been listening to the body and taking it back when I need to be, taking the rest days and extra recovery runs when I need to. But I've been happy with how the body's responded to the mileage, yeah.
Shane, out of that 120, how many of them is your quote-unquote easy runs? Because I saw you out in the track a fair bit and all the rest, because someone listening to the podcast might go, oh, geez, maybe I need to do 3-4 interval sessions a week, try and get up to Shane numbers, or I need to do 2 a days in the weekend. Like, break that down for us, how you're getting 120 plus kilometers a week.
So kind of Tuesday, Friday would be the session. So I'd have an aerobic session on a Tuesday, anaerobic on a Friday. Then on Sunday would be the long run. Then usually after a session day it'd be a recovery run. So I run 6 days a week. It's kind of 2 sessions, a long run, and then just recovery runs.
Shane, this is one thing me and Eric have talked opening the podcast we have struggled with. Saturday night, a session comes on, something like that.
Accusations.
I'm throwing it out at you, Eric. I'm trying. I was like, he's usually quiet. I'm dragging him back in. And you put a story up, you're like, There you go. You 1 or 2 beers, and 1 or 2 beers leads to 3 or 4 leads to 5. I'll run in the morning. I might do the afternoon. I'll do the evening. No, I'll probably leave it Tuesday. Bit bad of a wave, 2-3 days. How did you find like trying to make that balance? Because you talked about, you had that story, you're like, I'm going to go for 2 beers. I'm not going to run in the morning, but I'm going to enjoy myself Saturday night, and then I'm going to go again in the afternoon, give myself body time to heal. And you already talked about like just feeling the body and knowing what's going on there.
Yeah, like at the same time, it's like it's not all about running. You have to have a life too, and when you have things outside running that are going well as well, you usually run a lot better. So it's about having a mix and finding that balance. It's just every time I've run my best race results, I find like things are going well in my life as well as running. So I think it's just about finding that balance.
Conor was licking his lips there when you mentioned pints. Conor, what's the story? How are you getting on? I'm gonna have you pegged as an alcoholic now by the end of this. You probably don't even drink, but Conor, how is training treating you?
So we talked about feeling the body or whatever. After we had our last call, I know I said I wasn't fully focused on, say, running. I was doing a bit of the CrossFit High Rock stuff. So actually, like, my knees were blown up. So since last chatting to you, had an MRI scan, did the physio a couple of times. So carrying a bit of a niggle, or I was sort of on the better end of it now. So I had inflammation where my ACL sort of meets the bone, so behind the kneecap, and then also the patellar ligament, a bit of swelling there. So just trying to manage that, rest, but also just doing a bit of like low impact stuff, say on the bike, just to sort of keep the fitness thereabouts. But I'm back running now, so just running on the beaches and stuff like that. Low impact. Concrete's a bit sore. I get a bit irritated after running on the concrete, but went for a run there just before this call. Feeling good, doing a bit of physio. So objective now is just keep training, keep the recovery, the rehab up, and scrap the high rocks.
Are these the runs where you see if you're still injured, or are these the runs that are prescribed? Are you going doing a 5K going, I'll see?
No, I've been to physio, and he was working some sort of magic up and down the leg. He said, text me how you feel in 2 days. And I was like, when can I go running? He's like, text me and tell me how you feel in 2 days. So he said, tomorrow, don't even think about it, you're going to be sore. And yeah, he was right. It's very sore. The Wednesday I was feeling all right. So I went and done just 3K there with a couple of cardio. That was on the concrete. Now I was just feeling a bit stiff from not really doing much, but no real pain. Then I done the Saturday on the beach, and then I've gone to physio twice more after that, and it's just been prescribed run on the beach or treadmill for now, but I prefer the beach with the weather being nice. So I do that for the next week or two. I was planning on only doing sort of the 12-week block anyway, but again, that's sort of, I'm not starting from scratch, but I'm just trying to keep the legs going. Hopefully the knee stays relatively okay. I'll slowly build into it then.
It's still 8 more weeks of what Eric does anyway, so that's all right.
Get out of it. More points than me. People pick up niggles in the course of marathon training, and sometimes when people start their marathon training, they can pick up niggles, as you've done. Does it make you nervous?
Sore legs after a long run? Aching muscles holding you back?
Meet your new training partner, Ultra Pure Essential Oil Muscle Rub Roll-On. Fast, effective recovery wherever you are.
Infused with 9 powerful essential oils and arnica, this vegan no-mess roll-on is perfect post-race, post-workout, or just winding down.
Roll this onto tired legs, arms or back and massage in. Simple, soothing and effective. Your muscles will thank you.
Made in County Mayo by an award-winning Irish family business, Ultra Pure means quality you can feel and trust.
Find Ultra Pure Essential Oil Muscle Rub Roll-On in pharmacies and health stores nationwide, or shop online on the new Ultra Pure store, ultrapurelabs.ie. By listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this podcast. But for now, let's get back to the episode.
No, to be honest, like when it first happened, I was like, oh, I hope this isn't worse. So that's why I kind of went like probably over the top and got referred for an MRI, just to be sure that if it was something major, that it was treated like sort of as a major rather than it be just okay. So when they told me there was just a bit of inflammation, I was sort of like relieved, like, oh, happy days, like I know what this is, rather than mistreating something. But at the same time, I'm like, if it was something big, I was like, this would be a good story to, you know, go through it. Like, obviously wouldn't be going hell for leather and anywhere close to Shane there with a 3 hour, but I'd still try to push myself to overcome it, you know, and get it done. So it's a bit of fire in the belly as well.
Fair play. Cliodhna, the last one we haven't talked to yet. There's a lot of things.
One thing there, she equally had a glint in her eye when we mentioned the pints or a visit to hurling. I don't know which one came up first.
I think my 20-year-old me would have very much gotten involved in the pints conversation. 47-year-old nearly me is a different kettle of fish.
How is the training going so far over the last 3-4 weeks, Cliodhna?
Yeah, so things have, like, I don't tend to miss training. I'm one of those people who I don't tend to let life get in the way. I try and somehow find a way to always make a session, provided I'm not injured or provided, you know, something kind of has come up that I can't kind of account for, or that I can't deal with. So I kind of would, like, I change the times of my runs, or if I know there's something coming up, I'd switch the day, make sure I get all my runs in. It's probably, people might say, God, she's very dedicated. It's actually, it's probably, Eric, I know you mentioned, it's a bit of a control thing. I think I'd find it quite hard to relax and sit easily if I know I'm missing sessions. So for me to not have myself in that frame of mind, I just don't let myself miss things, which can be quite difficult to live with, I'd imagine. But yeah, no, I'm from that point of view, I'm organised. I'm managing a bit of plantar fasciitis. Do you know how my plantar fasciitis flared? You won't believe this. Put on a
You're
pair
out
of
dancing with
heels.
Conor in the nightclub.
No, but heels. High heels. Honest to
Wow,
God,
I wasn't far off.
No, you weren't far off. But it was
High
daytime
heels.
heels. Eric.
Eric, is that how it happened to you, or
Hey, listen, what happens in Mozambique?
wasn't judging?
How obviously you've been wearing heels for a while. Is this a new thing, or is it because you
No.
run and...
You see, I don't wear heels normally, but this is how it flared originally. I wore a pair of boots one day with a bit of a heel on them. It was daytime, it wasn't out or anything like that. And I hadn't worn them in a long time. And I got plantar fasciitis, but it seemed to trigger the plantar fasciitis. Now, my understanding of plantar fasciitis is it's generally a problem further up the leg, like it's calves or IT bands that are pulling, and it can cause, for me anyway, I think that's what the issue is. So I don't wear high heels. I'm never wearing them again. I went out Saturday night, talking about trying to balance it all. I went out Saturday night.
Converse on.
I don't drink. I don't drink anymore, so I'm not going to be the one you're going to be slagging about drinking. I used to drink, and I used to drink a lot. So it's kind of, I'm as a parent, I just feel I can't anymore. And I suppose being the only parent at home, well, I had given up anyway, but I can't throw that into the mix in my family life now. So for me, it's just easier if I don't drink. But I was getting dressed up, and my 17-year-old was in the house with me, and she was trying to, you know, tidy me up a little bit. She was kind of going, "Are you going to wear heels?" And I was going, 16-mile run tomorrow? No. So I was a big granny. But anyway, I ran the 16 miles the next day fine. So yeah, other than that, I've got the spiky ball. I'm trying to roll when I'm sitting down in the evening if I get a chance to sit down. I've got the massage gun going up the calf, tying up the quads, just trying to release any knots that might be there. So, and I go to a guy in Galway once a week, or once every 4 weeks usually, and he'll give me a rub on the legs, and it kind of tends to keep me ticking over. So that seems to have kept it all right for me, and it hasn't flared to the point that I can't run.
I had a similar problem last year with plantar fasciitis, and it was while I was training for elevation. And like I was taping it, and I was going to physio, and I was icing it, and it's fine when you're running, and afterwards is when it's hard to walk nearly. But I went into the doctor saying, I know you're going to tell me rest, but I'm going to run an ultramarathon in 2 weeks' time. So we'll talk about that later. I was like, give me the injection into the foot. And she said, could we try these anti-inflammatories first? And she gave, now it had been sore for weeks and weeks and weeks. And she gave me a dose of anti-inflammatories that was gone in 3 days.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's an option if
It didn't come
it
back
doesn't
then,
set
no?
up. Pardon?
It didn't come back. It
No.
didn't, like,
No. Yeah.
Not during elevation at all. When, like, for those that don't know what elevation, it's basically like 20 minutes of just a steep climb where you are not running that thing unless you're a complete mountain goat. Like, now it's a 6.7k loop, so you have time during the course to walk. But then the other end of it, it's so steep on the way down, like the pain in the quads and the calves and everything, like, so. And you no pain at all doing that, Aoife?
It never came back after that, and I had it. I had kind of had it since Dublin the previous year into elevation, which was April. Like, it had been going on and on and on, and just one short course of anti-inflammatories seemed to sort it out.
Now we've got drug pushers and drinkers. Jesus,
And everyone's got
Ireland and look.
everyone's got injury stories except the guy doing 120k a week. How's that work?
So Shane, what kind of drugs and drink are you taking?
No drugs now. No drink. No, not much drink either.
But it is something, I suppose. There are injuries that can cause a lot of frustration, I suppose. Shane, when you're looking at it, am I right in saying we talked about it? Did you pick up a small injury before? Am I imagining you picked up a small injury or any other? No, there wasn't. It was you changed something in the training. How are you finding, I suppose, is your mum still keeping up with you? That's what we want to know. Or are you still keeping up with your mum?
Yeah, we're both still going well. She's doing a little less mileage than me, but yeah, we're still going well.
And how are you finding, obviously everyone's involved in clubs. Conor is running his own. Cliodhna, very much still training on your own, I think. Cliodhna, are you? Or have a coach?
You have a coach?
No, I'm part of a WhatsApp kind of a community, but I do train on my own. So my buddy, I would have ran with two other friends of mine when we were training for Run the Line last year, but my buddy, he's 65, right? And everybody in the village keeps telling me to stop, that I'm going to kill him. Because it's so funny the amount of people who go, haven't seen him out running with you in a while, what's going on there? So basically at Run the Line he got a bad dose of patellar tendonitis and he's managing that. So hopefully he sent me a message the other day and he's going to come and do one of my slow runs with me. So it'll be nice to get out because there's only so many podcasts you can listen to.
We don't take any offence to that.
My year's done on a Monday, lads. It's done on a Monday. There's another 6 days.
And Aoife, we've seen you posting a good bit about the people you're running with and stuff. How's the community element? How is the reaction, I suppose, to you being on the podcast?
Yeah, I think everyone was excited and people said very nice things or said nothing at all. So I took that as it was. Yeah, I think like last year, like the training for Dublin was really the best part of it because we had such a huge group. So when I was talking to you first, I was like so excited to launch back into that. And then like the first week of the long run, I was like, right, who's coming? And it was like nearly radio silence. And like one of my like best running friends came and it was just the two of us. And I was like, oh, the group isn't materializing. But no, I think like time wears on a little bit and people come back from their holidays at the start of July. So last Friday evening, we had 4 times 5K and we had 15 people arrived for it. And like, that's just my pace group, you know, so I was said, the gang is back and we're ready to go again.
The band is back together. It's always good.
Yeah.
Conor, being injured and obviously you're leading a running club. How difficult is that? Because me and Seán feel it when we're injured or not racing or doing anything. And then we come on and to a running podcast, we kind of feel a little bit like imposters. How does it feel when you're supposed to be leading a group and you're injured? Need fuel that keeps up with your pace? Meet Perform's Carb Gel with 30 grams of fast-acting carbs, powered by 3 fuel sources for sustained energy when it matters the most. Packed with cluster dextrin for smooth digestion and a steady release. No spikes, no crashes.
All that in a compact 40 milliliter sachet, tested under Informed Sport, so you know it's clean and competition ready. Whether you're chasing the podium or just in an XPR, Perform Carb Gel gets you there faster, longer, stronger. If you're looking to stock up, you can use the code AGR to get 20% off your order.
By listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this Irish podcast. Time to get back to the episode.
Hey, like, to be fair, a couple of times when I used to go to them constantly, and then obviously there was a couple of times where I'm not running, or I'd still show up and people are like, why are you here? And I'm like, what do you mean why am I here? Like, I'm here to run this thing. And but if I don't run with them, I'd still hang around afterwards for a chat.
That's the only stereotype, Conor. It's good to know.
Yeah, look, sure. We've been through it. So, yeah, no, like, it is, like, a lot of them be like, you're not running still. But, like, I'd be the same to them if they rock up and they're like, oh, I'm a bit sore. I'm like, are you a bit sore? Are you injured? Like, it's only going to set you back further if you keep running on it. So definitely, like, I'd be big on sort of listening to your body. Like, so yeah, like, I still show up anyway, because sometimes it's nearly more about the chats and the coffee and that afterwards rather than actually getting the mileage in. Because even myself, like, when I was doing the last, say, Barcelona training, like, the couple of cardio runs were either recovery run or they were additional runs because they weren't necessarily suited to the plan. So I just sort of used them, and even the pace of them, like, I'm not going to go running off, or even the recovery run might be a bit slower than who's there on that day. So I just run with the grips, that kind of way. So I'm still doing a bit. Like, we had a charity fundraiser there in the gym on Saturday morning. So that was 100k on the bike erg for, there was a team of 3 of us doing that. So I was able to spin the legs then and get a good blowout. But, like, yeah, I'm still, like, tipping away, that kind of way. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much.
100k in the bike erg. Yeah. Oh, that sounds horrific. I mean, at least on a bike outside, you can freewheel for a bit. Like, those that haven't used a bike erg, if you just stop pedaling for a second, that thing just stops. That's the end of it. Like, that is horrific.
Yeah, it was tough. Now, to be fair, the two I was with were absolute animals. Like, so we actually came second. So
it was a race.
Well, no, but, like, it was a race. It was for charity. Now, I thought we might be a bit easier spinning the legs, but when the first fella got on and set the tone, I was like, all right, so we're going for it. Okay. So yeah, we done. So it was a good sweat. Haven't done a heart rate up like that in a couple of weeks since the knee was a bit at me. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Like, but it was tough.
Shane, when you run fast like you are doing currently, people tend to not want to run with you because they know what you do. They see your Strava and they're like, no way, see you later. How are you finding group training? Are you still in training with the club? Have you got any running partners, or what way? Are you mostly listening to the podcast on repeat 6 days a week?
And similar to Conor, I do most of my training on my own, but I join my club for recovery runs. So yeah, it's a nice social side to get in for recovery runs with the club. You get to see everyone, and it's great to get a bit of social side rather than train on your own all the time. It can become a bit monogamous when you're training on your own all the time, but at the same time, I kind of like training on my own as well.
It's the easier way to get that an extra miles in the legs, all right, when you're training with people and you're just not thinking. Like, just to go back to cleaning there for a second with the running, the structure runs and find the times. People listen to the podcast, the first week it's all guns are blazing. You're like, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling the 16-week plan. But as it gets to week 2 or 3, sometimes people will have put into the plan, I have to do 6 a.m. runs. I have to do it this time. That's it. And then the alarm goes off at 5:15. They're like, maybe I'll do an evening run. And then the evening run comes in and it's like, I'm too tired now. I'll try the next day. And they're missing sessions. When you're planning your runs, I know you said sometimes things change. Do you have a set structure to what you do for your running? Like, do you have, okay, it's always this time, because you are more so, you get your coaching plan and train by yourself more?
Yeah, I suppose I'm lucky at the moment in that I'm not working. So I'm not the same as everybody else at the moment. I'm a primary school teacher, but I'm also on carers leave because my daughter is still on maintenance treatment. So while she's on treatment, I'm not working. So I have that where other people don't. So I'm really lucky in that I have a lot of flexibility at the moment as to when I can run. But I don't really have to set an alarm to get up at 5 o'clock or 5:30. But I usually get my run in the morning before anything else gets in the way, because if you don't, I just find you just never know and it's not just as a parent, but particularly as a parent, there's the unknowns that come up in your own life, but then there's the unknowns that come up in your kids' lives as well. And you can really, it's a bit of Russian roulette sometimes if you leave it till the evening, because between pickups and drops, matches, like I've been down on a football pitch this evening since 5:30. I coached 2 teams. My son had training. It's just like, where would I fit that in? And then this. So for me, it's always, I usually get up and put my gear on. So I don't let myself put on regular clothes. I put on my running gear first thing in the morning. So I'm in it. So it's very hard to not run when you're togged and ready to go. But I guess I am one of the lucky ones at the moment in that I'm not working. So I have a bit of flexibility.
I'm living proof you can watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy in a pair of hokas, Cliodhna. I have to say, no, I admire the dedication, because it's one part I really struggle with. I'm a really bad morning person, particularly when it's on my own motivation. I suppose with kids, obviously that is a motivator because that is coming. But for me to wake up, part of what I've done over the last week is practice getting up at 6 a.m. again. Having been on leave and on a trip away and different times out, it was the bit I found the hardest. It was like, I was waking up at 5, but the effort of getting out of bed, you couldn't make me. Even if I went to bed in my running gear, I still wasn't getting out of bed. So it is a hard habit to build, but I suppose I have never, not once, unless maybe it was with Seán once, complained about getting up early to go for a run after the run. I always walk away from the run going, that was the best thing I've ever done. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Until tomorrow.
Yeah.
But even saying that, like I would, if I started running with people now at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, because I know otherwise I'll get up like you, I'll get me running gear on, but I get up at like 7:30 or so, I have a bit of food. I need that food to digest. I haven't got enough energy to go for a 2-hour run. I'll have a bit more food. What's that on Instagram? And next thing I know, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, because I got like a 4 or 5 hour window to run, which means in that lap, I'm going to do 3 hours of nothing. And then it's like, I have to run now or it doesn't get in, and then it gets in. So sometimes having too much time can also be like, and then like you said, something could happen then 3 hours down the way. It's like, I can't run now because something else came up. I should have done it 3 hours ago. Next thing I know, I'm not getting my long run in. And that happened to me a fair bit last year. So I had no question there. I suffered. A Dublin Marathon is what I did. I suffered, and I was like, that's the start of my training plan towards Barcelona, because that's not happening again. And I forced myself to sign up different races. And speaking of different races, has anyone in the group got a race coming up in the next couple of weeks, or is anyone in the group going, I need to keep myself on track to do more high intensity kind of runs and stuff like that leading up to Dublin, or is it just full steam ahead Dublin? Aoife, you're going to say something there?
I'm going to do the Kilkenny Medieval 30k in September.
Nice.
We kind of schedule that in every September. It's a great one, like pre-Dublin, to see where you're at. It's a good, it's scheduled well, and you find a lot of people doing that 30k are training for Dublin. Like, it just seems like it doesn't feel like a race at all. It feels like everybody just arrived to do a big training run, and they're going to give you a nice goodie bag at the end of it.
The medal's pretty decent on that. Me and Eric's first ever half marathon was actually together on that one, and that's when we realised we were screwed for Dublin. But I saw today, actually, I don't know about by the time this one gets released, there's no tickets for the half, but there is tickets still there for the 30k and the full.
And the 10k, I think. Yeah, they re-released them within the last week, I think, because it had been sold out. So yeah, people should try that one, because it's a nice, it's fine route. There's plenty water and stuff on the course, so you don't have to carry that. Like, if you're just getting a long run in, a 30-kilometre run, it's a handy one to do if you're in this end of the country.
Absolutely. Shane, to back up your 120k weeks and stuff like that, and your intervals in the track, any races coming up to see where you're at, or is it just straight to Dublin?
I'm racing a half at the end of August in Donegal. So I've raced it the last 2 years, and I've run a PB in that the last 2 years. So hopefully we can go for 3 years in a row. Nice. That flat course, where's that? I've never been Donegal, to be honest with you. It's in Donegal, yeah. It's a very flat course, fast course. In my opinion, it's up with the fastest courses in the country. I think the one in time was like 108 or so last year, so it is quite a fast course.
Wow.
Unreal. Conor, any races planned yourself, or is it just get through this knee injury first?
No, I don't. I was looking. There's a local 5K there from the soccer club sometime in September, so I was like, oh, that mightn't be a bad one to sort of just test. But again, I'll see how the knee's going. But by then, I should be hopefully flying fit. So yeah, I'll probably take on that one. And then with the run club, we're sort of doing this event. It's like a fundraiser from Australia and New Zealand. It's called More Than a Run. So they actually they're doing one in Dublin. I don't know if you're aware of it. They're doing one in Dublin, Cork, and then a couple of small towns. So I'm trying to get the one organised for Drogheda here, and that's a 10K, 30K, or a 60K. But it's not a race. It's like the reverse of a race. So it's a casual run. It's rather than everyone start at the same time, the goal is that everyone finishes at the same time. So if you're doing 60K, you'd start at 5 a.m. So Eric, you'd probably be still asleep for that one. 10K probably or so.
Hung over after drinking with you, Conor. You want to come at me, Conor? You better have better goodies than that.
So talk to me about that one. What's it called?
It's called More Than a Run. They started over in New Zealand, Australia, but they're coming to the UK and Ireland on the 30th of August. So there's one in Dublin. I'm in the WhatsApp there for Dublin. They're trying to get it organised. But yeah, it's more fundraiser, like run club event, like community get together. Now it's a fundraiser for Pieta House. That's the charity for Ireland. The UK have their own charity, but the 10, the 30, and the 60, like they're all statistics for mental health. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not just random numbers they picked. So like 1 in 10 people suffer from whatever mental health issues, whatever 30%, 60%, whatever it may be. So yeah, you should check it out. There'll be one in Dublin. It all happens same day.
I'm guessing
everyone finishes.
Sorry, Conor. Maybe you don't know. You're probably just gathering the information, and maybe we're ahead of ourselves. We'll do some our own research into it. But I'm guessing this is a loop because you can control the loop. I'm guessing it's not a free run. Any indication of where it is?
5K loop is what they plan for, so it's easy for people to cheer. Get their stocked up on their supplies, all that crack. I think Dublin they were going for Phoenix Park, but I think it was too awkward with permits and stuff like that because it's such a long event. So I think they actually got Leopardstown racecourse sorted. So they're currently planning that. I'll send it on to you and maybe the WhatsApp afterwards. Might be worth you having a look.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It sounds like a good one. It's those long events, especially, like it's nice that everyone is finishing at the same time as well, because for those who are doing the 60 as they start to get tired, well, too, is frustrating and fun. Everyone else is running a hell of a lot faster when they're doing the 10K, which is very frustrating, but at least you get the finishers buzz when you've got crowds and crowds and crowds of people there to keep you going. So it's definitely one to look at.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Cliodhna, any races planned?
I was down to do the Streets of Galway the weekend after next, but there is that strength and conditioning conference in Belfast at the weekend. It's like the Irish Strength and Conditioning Conference, and there's some really good speakers at that. So I think I'm going to go to that. And
Seán is speaking at it because he's an expert.
Is Seán speaking at it?
Is that the one? I somehow doubt that.
David Gray is going to be there, and Mike Boyle, the American.
Mike Boyle, yeah.
And Paddy Roach, the guy who's with the Arsenal Youth Academy, he's brilliant as well. So I think I'm going to go to that and skip the Streets of Galway, and I'm down for Charleville in September, the half marathon in Charleville.
Oh, very
I'll
nice.
probably do something else as well somewhere along the line, but nothing planned. Time to avoid I think the coach was kind of saying, look, to avoid pick your races carefully from now on. He was kind of saying that just the recovery on the 5Ks and the 10Ks after the effort can be quite difficult. So he was just kind of advising to pick and choose carefully from now on in. Whereas he'd be encouraging us to run and race as much as possible otherwise.
Do you think stuff then like the Dublin Race Series is well thought out, well planned in terms of bringing you through the mileage? Is that something we should see more of around the country when it's coming to the build up to these kind of events? For example, the 30K in Kilkenny. I think Rush, they're going to kill me for getting this wrong. It's North Dublin. They've organised a 30K this year in around the same time, and it's sold out within a couple of minutes. So are we missing those kind of build-in races? Do them kind of race series work?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have, like, we're quite limited in Galway with events. So I know from the group I'm involved with, or the running group I'm on the WhatsApp with, they have races in Cork. I mean, there's 3 and 4 races a week in Cork, it seems to be. Now, I know Cork's a big county, but we don't have that in Galway, like one every 3 weeks if we're lucky. I don't know what it's like, Shane, for you up in Sligo, but very much in Galway. So you're kind of like, you're always having to travel to races. So I don't even know what's going on in the Dublin series, Eric, because it's beyond in the pale.
Shane, what is it like up in Sligo?
Yeah, there does be a couple of races, like, but with the logistics, like even for Dublin Marathon, for travel from Sligo to Dublin, it can be a lot too, like with the transport and accommodation, stuff like that as well.
Yeah, that's very fair. Like, I wouldn't travel too far for a 5, 10K. Or
Definitely,
even
like
a half.
we had Streets of Sligo was on recently, a 5K, and it's a very good crowd. We got over 450 for us, and yeah, it was a very good event for Sligo SE ran it. Very good event.
Who stole the name from who? Galway or Sligo?
I think the series there, there's a good few different streets of something going on there.
There was no series.
No, as in around the country, you mad thing.
No, very good. Well, we'll keep all our race series to ourselves. No, we have identified. Oh, wait, we better not say this. This is a business idea. No, we'll keep that a secret for when we're not recording. So what is the stages? And this is an open question. What are we looking at for the next couple of weeks? Obviously, Conor's rebuilding. Shane, are we going to see? Obviously, we're increasing the mileage, I'd say. Cliodhna, obviously, we've got long runs to get in before hearing Seán speak in Belfast, and Aoife gathering the crowds and working towards Kilkenny. So what is the next 4 weeks for people?
It's a bit more the same, I think.
My coaches, John and Niall, tried to break it up into 3 phases. So the last phase we've had was called the endurance phase, where we're just building up the endurance and getting into the swing of the consistency of marathon training. And then the next section is the strengthening phase. So it'll be, more reps of the intervals, longer long runs, and it'll just be strengthening our endurance, I suppose. And then the last phase is the sharpening phase, when you have all the very hard work done. So yeah, we're kind of moving into that strengthening phase. That's going to be more reps, longer reps, just an awful lot of running over the next 4 weeks.
And what does that look like from like 4x5K you were doing? Is that like...
It'll move into 5x5K and 6x5K. And then, and we don't do the 5K repeats every week. It'll be every second or third week. This week, the plan, I think the long run on the plan is, they'd say 12 to 16 miles, because, there's a good variety of ability in our group. So 12 to 16 miles of rolling hills for the long run. So we know the routes around Clonmel that have the hills, so we'll take off out there this weekend.
I think I'm going to try and focus a little bit on food, nutrition. I think for all of us, like, you're not just trying to fuel for the long runs, but you're trying to manage your day before fueling, your fueling after. And I suppose it's just so important to try and not get sick as well. Like, we can probably scrape a run with a couple of gels, but how is that going to leave you for 2 or 3 days afterwards? So coincidentally, I won a competition. I'm really lucky this summer, lads. I won a competition with Glenillan, the yogurt crowd.
Oh, very good.
Right.
Seán won a Ronald McDonald colouring competition once, but that was a different story.
Came third, Eric, but thanks for that.
So yeah, I won a consultation with Daniel Davey, which is pretty cool, because I follow him. I would follow him on Instagram. So I had I kind of won I'm not really sure exactly what I won, but I won. I had a consultation with him on Friday. So we just had it was quite good, actually, because it wasn't so much about what are you eating every day. It was more about your mindset around eating and what you can do to improve your eating, not just for this marathon block, but kind of into the rest of your life, not just bringing things in that you're going to stick to for the next 13 weeks or whatever. So he has me doing a little bit of homework now, just to identify. I think I have to track my food for 2 different days, on a high energy day and on a lower energy day, try and see what the calorie, what my calorie intake is like on those days, and protein and stuff like that. And then I'm going back to him, and I have a bit of homework to do. And I think in about 5 or 6 weeks, I go back and we have another consult. And he kind of looks at what I've given him. I know one of the big things, obviously, for us all is protein. That's something I've been trying to be really. It's something I wouldn't be very good at. I'd be poor enough. Like sometimes I don't know. You might grab a quick breakfast. You're grabbing a quick lunch, and all of a sudden it's 3:00, and you might have only had 10 grams of protein, and then you're behind all. Like that's it. You're done then really for the day, because how are you going to fit your protein in between then and then? Of course, it comes to like 9:00, and it's like, right, what am I going to eat now? Because you're hungry. So I've made kind of a conscious effort over the last couple of weeks to try and improve the protein, and I can definitely feel I'm recovering. I feel like I'm recovering well, that I'm not, there's no day where I'm going out running where I'm going, oh Jesus, how am I going to manage this? So that for me is probably because the consistency of running is there for me already. So I think for me, that's where I'm going to try and see if I can, any little improvement, the 1%, isn't it?
Were you given any types of food? I remember one year at the expo, me and Eric were told beetroot was brilliant for doing, was it losing the blood or something like that? Don't quote me on that one now, but it was something that was good. And me and Eric were not good enough to do the marathon well. So we had like 3 fucking bottles of it each. And we're like, we're going to do Delhi the marathon tomorrow and down it. But what were you told any kind of particular types of food, or was it more kind of like the calories has to be in check and the protein has to be in check?
It was funny because there was very little talk about food in general. It was more about, like, I have to fill out a little questionnaire beforehand. And he was just wondering, do I cook? Where would I see my strengths at? How would I rate myself on cooking? So he was talking about, he was looking at sleep, nutrition, training. I haven't gone back and looked at it now. As we were talking, he was kind of saying these are all the different elements that can affect your ability to perform. So we kind of, it was funny. It wasn't what I expected. It was a lot more general, but I think that was the introductory kind of chat. He got a sense of where I was at. So the takeaway was definitely the protein. Was just looking at, it kind of, and I think I'm doing quite well at the moment, but I'm starting to put protein powder, like I'm baking with protein powder now. Like the kids are just looking at me going, not a fucking notion, Mom. No. And the kids are giving out because there's Greek yogurt across the entire top shelf of the fridge now.
Oh, yeah. Greek yogurt and protein powder bacon it's on everyone's Instagram feed now. Everyone's making anything with that. Although I did make a pizza dough out of Greek yogurt. And I have to say, it wasn't bad. I tried one of these, I'm sorry if I'm cutting across nutrition talk to digress, but basically someone on Instagram made a pizza out of yogurt, and I said, no way, not a chance. But I did it, and it was actually surprisingly tasty.
Was that the girl you had on a couple of weeks ago, Shy, and what's her name?
Seán. She had it.
She had something like that
as well.
Yeah.
It was.
I didn't see that in my research. I would have brought that up. What did you have on the yogurt base? A yogurt base pizza?
Yeah, with flour.
Nah, you're pulling my leg.
No, it was good. Now, it was great. Yeah, it was great, but another excuse to get protein bread into me, essentially. I still had the flour and all the other stuff, but it was good. But so using a nutritionist, well, good thing you won it, I suppose. Good sign that advertising is working, because now a couple of thousand people are going to hear about it. So if he's listening, €1 million, or come on to the podcast. That's how we roll.
I did ask him, would it be okay if I mentioned him on the Any Given Run Day? And he did take out his pen and piece of paper and wrote down Any Given Run Day. So you never know.
Very good. So you can send it on to him now as well. See what he thinks of Greek yogurt pizzas.
We just lost him.
Very good.
I actually had something sort of similar there for last year. I'm going to do it again, hopefully in September. I got VO2 max tested and the metabolic testing while I was there. So I got the 2-in-1. So that was actually really beneficial for obviously training, but like I had no idea as to what my calories were or what they're supposed to be, because I never won for tracking them, you know, that kind of way. Like I know I just sort of eat what I wanted, but like it was still obviously like half decent, but I found I was way off calories on training days, and that would lead into say the following day, say it could be like the Monday morning in work, like, and I'd be starving, and I was like just in foul humor and everything, just mad hangry. But yeah, it turns out it was way off the calories, so I probably haven't changed much, but I'm gonna hopefully in the next month or so get booked in again, get the testing done again for my zones and the metabolic, just to see if anything's changed.
It is one thing when people take on a marathon, they don't realize the quantity of food you need. Now, when I say the quantity of food, the quantity of carrots and, this and that you need to eat versus the Papa John's pizza. Now, the Papa John's pizza has a place, and those kind of high calorie foods do have a place in the role, because sometimes they're tasty and sometimes they're nice and you've burnt enough to make it up. But I'm being honest, it's the truth. If you're having a fish, like, they have a place because everything's in moderation, and that's what we're trying to do. But I think it is scary. Conor, were you obviously under because you were getting hungry? How did you find when you realized this is how much I need to be eating and I can't just do it through drinking?
Well, when he showed me the numbers, I started laughing. I was like, "You're mad. There's no way I'm eating that much." And he was like, "Do you have any idea what you were doing?" At the time I didn't, but then I downloaded that, whatever the app was for
My
tracking them.
Pad,
My Fitness Pad, it's awful.
That's the one. So I threw what I would have been eating, say, on a regular day in, and I'd say it was nearly 1,000 calories off, like on a training day. But yeah, for the next 2 weeks, I sort of was like, how am I going to get this into me? And I was eating, and I was sort of like, I was feeling the eating, that kind of way.
Yeah, heavy.
Yeah, I wasn't as hungry now, but but then, yeah, say 2 weeks in, training was flying. Everything was just feeling much better, which is obviously because I was fueling correctly. But yeah, no, definitely, like, anyone that was taking on Dublin Marathon from the Couple Cardio crew, I was like, it's definitely worth doing, especially if you're going to do like a race and you're really going to train for it and not just sort of be in and out of it. But I think it's definitely worth the money. Like,
and the VO2 then as well, Conor, were you doing your runs then based off those zones and you felt good doing that, or how did that work?
Yeah, so obviously I've got Garmin here, and they're just an average sort of what's the word, formula or whatever for giving you your heart rate. And I was running at like 7-minute pace for a slow run, long run, zone 2, and I was like, this just can't be right. Like, it's way too slow. And I think there was maybe 3 weeks or so of this. I was like, no, like that can't be right. Like, simply can't be right. So I went and got the zones done. And yeah, like, when I started training at the proper zones, like, yeah, I just seen all the improvements between eating and the training in the better zones. Plus, I was enjoying it more because I wasn't running so slow, like, kind of way for myself. Like, I was like, this is a bit too slow for me. Like, I'm nearly just bouncing up on my toes to run, where I was like, this is you could nearly fast walk it, what I felt like, but obviously not. So when I started like properly training, it was like my slow runs were nearly 6-minute pace, then maybe a little lower, which is obviously a big difference than 7+. So
really starts taking the guesswork out of it then. So it's either you trust the coach and what they're doing, but then if you're training by yourself, then it kind of just gives you a bit more of a roadmap on what kind of running and zones do from there. Yeah,
definitely.
I just talked myself into getting one of those tests, because I know so many people that have done it. We had Seán on the podcast, and like the man's a wealth of knowledge, and it was great hearing from him. Like, oh, I definitely booked it in. Of course, being lazy, I've not done that yet, but the running's gone okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's worth the money anyway, and it's good. It's a good, nice little insight, if nothing else, like, to see where you're at, kind of way. So.
Absolutely. I'm just afraid that numbers won't be good enough. My ego will take a dent, but I just need to get over myself and go in and get it done, I think.
Yeah, I'll get you a little referral and we'll work a deal.
That's Eric's line. He's stealing your gimmick, Eric.
Yeah, that's how it is. Seán, you'll come out with stamps and half cut. You won't know what's after happening. It'll be a nightclub.
On that note, guys, go ahead.
Sorry, I have one more to ask. Seeing how we went down the eating route, Shane, 120 odd kilometers. What are you eating?
Yeah, I've been working with a nutritionist for the last couple of marathon cycles, Milana Kelly Nutrition. She's helped me out a lot. So complex carbs, like a couple hours before training, then fast acting carbs before training. So kind of getting your potatoes and bagels and stuff in a couple hours beforehand, and then maybe a packet of jelly snakes or Haribo's before training. Then fueling your training if you need to add a couple of gels, and just getting your post-training fueling. It's basically just a lot of eating, a lot of eating.
Shane,
Pretty
can I
much all it
ask roughly what kind of calories we on here on a training day? Do you know?
3,000 calories plus.
I'm not eating enough. I'm not eating
No,
enough.
you're not. Yeah, but,
I'm 3,500 for training days.
3,500 training days.
Yeah, see, your face is the face I gave your man when he told me the numbers.
3.5. No, I'm definitely nowhere near. And like, I'm pushing 90 kilo. I've lost a little bit of weight since the thing started, that my marathon training started. Now I know why, because I'm not eating enough. But
Well, that's actually one of the things Daniel said on this. He said just to manage your. He said actually I forgot that one of the things is to kind of track your weight, because you shouldn't be losing weight. Because if you're losing weight, that's a sign that obviously you're not fueling properly. So I would imagine none of us are running to lose weight. We're all running for performance. Yep. We're all running to a goal. So, because I don't have a scales at home, we've never had one. But he just said it might be no harm to just every now and again step up on the scales to make sure that you're maintaining, because if you're losing, you're in trouble. So that was one thing. He's actually, I'm going to jump on it. He's doing a marathon, it's like an 8-week run into the Dublin Marathon, where he does a week on week. He'll do a different subject. So it's carbs, proteins. It's open for anyone to pay. I think it's about €100. I did it last year, but I had to pull out because I was doing another course, and I got what I needed from what I had done. I didn't have time to finish it out, but I'm going to jump back on it this year. I think last year it was about €100, and then you got access to his dashboard, all his recipes and all that kind of stuff as well. But like, I know the first week was like that general stuff he spoke to me about, but then he did carbs one week, protein the next week, fats the next, and your homework every week was to calculate what you need on your different training days and how then you can go about introducing that kind of a calorie lump on those days. So it was well worthwhile. So by the time we chat again, I'll have a few weeks done, so I'll jump back in again. But yeah, track your weight.
You should get the course for free now after that plug, if he's listening. But,
use the coupon code Cliodhna to get 25% off.
I know we're well ahead of it, and people are going to be like, oh, how am I going to eat that food? When the marathon's over, try and stop me eating that much. For about 4 weeks after, for about 4 months after I eat like I'm about to run a marathon. That's the problem.
That's what happened to me. I put 3-4 kilo on since Barcelona. Because I stopped running, but I kept eating the same and more, and then like my hunger habits were just there, but the energy output wasn't there, but the energy going in, that was there.
Oh, I love eating so much. But it's so good. But thanks so much for all of your time this week. We ended up diving into the nutrition side. For those who might be panicking now and wondering about, we have plenty of previous episodes where we've interviewed so many of these people in the area of nutrition, in the area of VO2 maxes. We've had many guests on talking about how they manage their day. Some people just keep it simple and do what suits you. Nutrition is very individual, and that's why getting the help of someone can be very good and something you have to figure out. Like Cliodhna said, plenty of homework there as well. So lots of information from the guys. Very good to hear. We've picked up niggles, we've changed diets, we've done everything. We've put in 120 kilometers, which is making everyone else nervous. But it is a good 4 weeks. We will be checking back in again with the guys very soon to see how they're progressing as we get into the longer stages, and Aoife will be doing 10 by 5Ks at that stage, and we will keep on trucking.
And that is it for this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast. From myself, Shane, Cliodhna, Aoife, Conor and Eric. Take care.